morning and welcome to News Channel 45.
Today we will take a different perspective from the federal government. We will step back and look at the process which determines the way we live our lives, the way our government operates, and the way our country continues to modernize and develop.
Have any idea about what we're talking about? This is the legislative process, the intertwined, unpredictable way in which a proposed legislation becomes law.
Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution states the following: all legislative powers have been granted shall be vested in the Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives.
This statement lies at the foundation of the legislative process. Although the two chambers of Congress established in the Constitution have separate and indistinguishable powers, such as the Senate power to confirm presidential nominations and the power of the House to originate revenue bills, the enactment of law requires both chambers to agree on the same legislation proposal with a two-thirds vote.
Let's take a quick look at how this process begins. Foremost, all legislation begins as an idea. This idea, drafted by anybody, from the president to an average U.S. citizen, initiates congressional action when it is introduced by a member of Congress as one of the following principal forms: a bill, a joint resolution, a concurrent resolution, or a simple resolution.
By definition, a bill is any proposed legislation. When originating in the House, it is designated the letters HR, while obviously is labeled with the letter S when originating in the Senate, following with its number.
Joint resolutions, concurrent resolutions, and simple resolutions, which follow the same procedures as bills in the legislative process, are different in that they are not sent to the President for approval after their passing in Congress. Joint resolutions propose constitutional amendments, which concurrent and simple resolutions deal with procedures of the Senate and House of Representatives.
Now, because each chamber can make its own rules, each has its own procedures on processing the same legislation. After a bill is introduced, its support is demonstrated through a main sponsor and several co-sponsors.
The bill is then sent to the clerk of the chamber, who designates it with a number. The bill is then printed, distributed, and sent to the appropriate committees for consideration.
The committees then refer the bill to their subcommittees, who hold hearings on the bill, which provide the opportunity for both supporters and those against the bill to voice their opinions. These subcommittees then revise and vote to pass or defeat the bill. If defeated, the bill is terminated right then and there.
If approved, the bill is then sent to the full committee and undergoes what is called markup, a session in which committee members offer changes to a bill before going on to the floor. Remember, the bill can also end at this stage.
Now, this next step is where the process is different in each House of Congress. If passed by the whole committee in the House, the bill must be sent to the House Committee on Rules before its floor debate. The Rules Committee limits debate on the bill, assigns it a date in the calendar, and specifies the amendments that may be offered.
Now we will take it off of Yolanda Smith in order for her to discuss how the Senate floor handles bills, resolutions, and nominations.
On the other hand, because the Senate does not have a Rules Committee, it is sent directly to the floor for debate, which is virtually unlimited. Similarly, bills in the Senate may be held up by a hold or filibuster. A hold is a tactic in which a senator asks to be informed on the bill before it is brought to the floor. Another powerful tool utilized by senators with objections to bills is a filibuster, a formal way of halting action on a bill or resolution by means of long speeches or unlimited debate. There are no limits on the content of a filibuster as long as the senator keeps talking and follows the tiresome rules. But a filibuster can be halted with a 3/5 vote called a cloture. After this complicated process in both the House and Senate, the process literally begins again, as it must also be approved in the other chamber, if not considered simultaneously. Now back to you.
One more quick reminder to all you viewers. A bill, nomination, or resolution does not always follow this process verbatim. It can be killed at any stage, and there are many loopholes.
Finally, if a bill is passed in both chambers, it is sent to the President for final approval. Let's check in with Alexandria to see the many options for this.
See you later.
Welcome. I am sitting here with President Obama to discuss the process on final approval for a bill, which is essentially the third and final step of the legislative process. Barack, give us an overview of these possibilities. Good morning, my fellow Americans. When a bill is sent to my office, one option I have is to sign the bill into law. Another option I have is to veto the bill, which is by definition my formal constitutional authority to reject a bill passed. At this point, it does not become a law unless Congress overrides the veto with a 2/3 vote in each chamber. This is very difficult, as I may add, but I may also wait 10 days, after which the bill becomes a law, without my signature if Congress is still in session. But if Congress adjourns by those 10 days and I choose not to sign the bill, this is what we call a pocket veto. The only way for a bill to then become a law is for it to be reintroduced in the next session. This means it must be processed once again in both chambers of Congress. And why so complicated, you may ask? Well, the framers certainly did not want to make it so easy for laws to be passed that one was passed every day. Therefore, this process is somewhat beneficial, yet sometimes a flaw. Regardless, this process is one that is vital to our everyday life. Thanks for watching.